What's going on, guys? This is Costi with Pickdawgz.com, and I'm here with Goran today for another part of our video series with the Copa America preview. Now, if you're just new to this channel and you've never actually been a subscriber before, have seen our video series, we have a wide range of products. We have the YouTube, which is completely free for any subscriber, and then we have the premium pick side where you get the best bets from each of the cappers on there. But if you're somebody that's a bigger player that wants more of the hand holding and the rating system and up to date and up to the minute releases of the games that guys like Goran bets, that's where the Golden Boot All Access is going to play a role. Now, it is for our bigger players. It's not for everyone. But if for somebody that wants to get those games literally 20 minutes before game time when Goran is actually monitoring the lineup releases, that's where it plays a huge role. And we'll explain a little bit more about the product. But first and foremost, we want to give a selection and a preview for every single game in the Copa Americas. And with that being said, what's going on, Goran? How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm great. We are less than a day away from the Euro Cup and about a week away from Copa America Costa. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be summer filled with outstanding soccer games. And you can watch Euro Cup in the morning and the afternoons and then finish the day off with some Copa America games in the evening. A lot of probably the best players in the world are now playing in both in Europe and Copa America as well. And USA, Mexico, Canada, Panama, and Costa Rica all joined Copa America tournament. And I think that's going to be a huge increase in quality of this tournament as well.
No, very excited. We just launched this all access last week. The first week, $1,000 better made $8,000 back. So, guys, it's not hard if you have the skill set that Goran has. The difference is there's a lot of work that goes into this stuff. And for you to release and get these games from us, we want you to be committed for the entire tournament. And that's why I'm very particular who we let on to this all access because we want to make it exclusive for a reason because these lines move and the price is going to be gone. And if we have 100 or 192,000 like the subscribers we have on this channel betting the same game, well, the line is going to move against us and we're not going to have value anymore. So that's why we keep it very exclusive. But let's get right to the games here, Goran. What do you think about Argentina versus Canada, the first slate of the Copa America?
Yeah, the opening game of the tournament, Costi, and honestly, I'm a bit afraid for Canada here. I gotta admit, even though I am in Canada, I live in Canada, and I think that they made great strides. They improved a lot. I still think that they have ways to go, and it's gonna be another couple of years or so. They will probably be ready for that World Cup that's gonna be in USA, Mexico, and States, and Canada in 2026. But as of right now, I think that they will have a hard time here against Argentina. People are saying that Messi is done. He has nothing left to prove. But this is a guy that basically have that for like 65, 70 minutes, and then he can kill you in one move. And that's what we are going to be seeing from this Argentinian team. They have Alvarez, they have Enzo Fernandez, they have McAllister, Garnacho is out there as well. So an outstanding team overall. Great goalkeeper, solid defense. They absolutely deserve to be the biggest favorites of this tournament costume.
Yeah, I'm excited because I'm a huge Argentina fan. I always have been since the Maradona days. And seeing the younger guys come through and excel at the last World Cup where they finally got over the hump was just so nice to finally see that the work has paid off because Messi he's fallen short so many times and it's the one tournament that he's never won. Now that he's got the monkey off his back, I think it's going to be you know, I'm worried for all the other teams. That's all I could say because as we know, Brazil is great at showboating, but can they win the big game is ultimately been the caveat and their backbone for many tournaments now. So very excited about this one. I don't see a play in this one as well yet. This is one of those that you have to wait right before game time, potentially, where you see the lineups. It could be a total play, but they're just such a heavy favorite in Argentina. It's just tough to lay that price, especially from the sharp side.
Yeah, exactly. Minus 294 favorites. That's a week before the tournament. Hopefully the price goes down a little bit, maybe take the handicap or something like that. We'll see as we approach the game time. But as of right now, there's nothing really worth taking this far ahead of this game. So I think we'll wait a bit for this one.
Got it. Now, the next matchup we have is Peru versus Chile. This is not the Chile team of old. It's not, the Arturo Vidal show where he was able to do a lot of damage in this tournament when he was younger. It's a much different team. Vidal's much older. So now, what is the new look for the Peru Chile teams, and who do you see is going to actually elevate their game going forward?
Yeah, you know what? Both of these teams have a lot of older players, like 35 and over, especially Peru, who still actually has, if you believe it or not, Paulo Guerrero is still playing for this national team. He's 40 years old now. It seems like he's been around forever. They have some players from the MLS, some players from their national leagues and stuff like that. But I think this is going to be a very close game. I think that both of these teams like to play it rough. They don't shy away from making those fouls, from making their opponents suffer. Um, Personally, at this moment, I'm looking at the draw in this one. It's plus 230 right now. I think that the price might go down a little bit, but honestly, I wouldn't put any money on either of these two teams to win, especially in the first game of the tournament. And I honestly think that the lineups will be what they're going to be. I don't think it's going to affect much of this game, but like I said, I'm looking at the draw in this one, and we'll see how we approach this one as we get closer to the game time. But as of right now, I'm very much on the fence.
Got it. And that's okay. We're doing this recording a week prior to the tournament. And as we get closer to the tournament, we're going to be releasing games in real time. So that's the advantage that you're going to get with the all access, where you're going to constantly get updates of games and bets that we're betting in real time that are all going to be scaled in strength. Some games are much bigger and smaller. I know the other day we had gone 1-1, but because of your high unit release, you're still cashing on the day. So the strength matters as well. We're not going to win every game, but a lot of times we'll still give you action on every game, even if it's very small, just because it's such a big tournament and because we have some sort of edge, even though if it's not a big one. But on to the next one, we have Mexico and Jamaica. Man, El Tri, I know they're playing in the United States, but I could see it already. They're going to have 100,000 fans in the stands, basically like a home game. And the draw and the draw in the group. I mean, Mexico seems like they got a gift there. What do you think about this matchup?
Yeah, you know what? I think it's gonna be closer than the books might think. Mexico minus 161 favorites. They definitely are the team that has a little bit more quality than Jamaica. But when you think of Jamaica, it's not like you have a bunch of those reggae guys like people used to think back in the day. Now they have some players from the EPL. They have some players from the MLS as well. Overall, team that can score goals, but the defense is gonna be a problem for them for sure. And of course, the lack of experience playing in those big tournaments, which Mexico has in spades, they definitely, like I said, deserve to be the favorites here. They haven't been themselves lately. They still have a lot of work to do. They lost their last two games in a row. And I don't know, like at minus 161, they're definitely not worth taking on the money line, that's for sure. We might be looking at maybe siding with Jamaica here at plus 2.5 is the line, I think, right now. Maybe plus 2 and 2 quarters or something like that, 2 and a quarter. But the line is going to move for sure as we approach the game time. We'll see how the public will side with this one. But personally, there's no money on Mexico right now. So I think we'll have to get creative about this one, Costi.
Got it. Got it. And what about the other matchup? I think I skipped one for you. What about the other matchup in that group with Ecuador and Venezuela?
Yeah, you know what? Venezuela actually did a fairly good job in the World Cup qualifications they had in South America. They haven't lost a lot of games. Their current form is a bit sloppy, yes. And in my personal opinion, I think that Ecuador could be one of the dark horses of this tournament. So possibly at minus 114 on the money line, I think that might be the bet of the round. If I'm being honest, on Ecuador to get a nice win. It's not going to be something extravagant or something like with I don't know 3 or 4 or 5 goals. But I think that Ecuador has the quality to get a win out of this game, and that's what I'm leaning to at the moment. So we'll see uh, what's going to happen with the lineups as we get to the game time.
Got it. And now to the big one that I'm sure everybody on this video is excited to hear and talk about, USA versus Bolivia. We just saw in a friendly the USA drew with Brazil. Obviously, it's hard to take away a lot from friendlies, but what was your takeaway from that friendly as well as the prediction of what you see coming up in this particular game?
You know what? I think that this USA team is probably the most talented team they had in the last probably 15, 20 years. And I don't think that's an exaggeration at all. I think that they are a great team. They have a lot of players playing overseas. I think that Pulisic is doing a great job. McKinney is there leading the midfield as well. And it's not just two guys. They have a great core. They're still a very, very young team. And honestly, the defense is probably going to be their biggest problem of the tournament. And you got to ask yourself, how often is Matt Turner going to have 11 or maybe 12 saves like he did against Brazil the other day, which actually saved them. And if he can stay in such a good form as he was in that friendly game, I think that they can get probably to the semifinals, and I don't think that's an exaggeration as well. And luckily for them, they're facing this Bolivia team who is a massive, massive underdog in this game, costing plus 1650,
Wow.
and they have won only 2 games in the last year and a half or something like that. So they definitely deserve to be the underdogs that they are, but that only means that the line of the USA is going to be set to plus maybe -2.5, -3 if we want to get some money out of it. So we'll see how the over 2.5 is going to shift which way. If not, if there's no value in it, I think we'll simply skip this game and just enjoy watching it because I know that we have a lot of viewers from the USA. So the best way to enjoy the game is by not putting a bet on it.
Yeah, and then in the other matchup in that same group, we have Uruguay against Panama. Now, Panama is very underrated. I mean, this team definitely could be a legitimate knockout contender here. I know Uruguay is projected to potentially win this group, but I think Panama could definitely give them a run for their money. Is that kind of what you see in this one as well?
Yeah, I think it could be a tough game. Panama is in a great form. They haven't lost any of their last 3 games, and they have lost only 2 of their last like 12 or 13 games. And of course, those are the team like Guyana or I like all of those island national teams we have in the Central America. But still, their form and I mean, they have a right mentality to compete, right? While Uruguay, being the third favorite to win the tournament at plus 500, I think that they have a solid offense with Darwin Nunez up front. They have Freddy Valverde from Real Madrid, who just won the Champions League as well. They have a few other great players, and I think that they will be a tough team to beat. But once again, they are minus 286 favorites. I'm hoping the line is going to move. I'm hoping we get a little bit of a better price, but as of right now, I think the over 2.5 might actually be the best shot at minus 128 in this game.
All right, guys, over 2.5. And the Panama Uruguay is the early release. Obviously, we'll be adding more stuff as we do on our All Access channel. And then on to the next and the final group, we have Colombia against Paraguay. Colombia is definitely not the Colombia of old that I used to watch all the time, and that had a lot of success even in the World Cup. Much younger team, a revamped roster. A lot of these guys don't play overseas, they play in South America. Do you have anybody that really stands out for you in this game that could potentially be a difference maker?
I think that Colombia is actually on a bit of a rise right now. They are on a 7 game winning streak, which is absolutely outstanding. And when you look at the lineups, they have Luis Diaz, who is probably their most well known player, who's playing for Liverpool. And we know he can score goals. But like you said, of all the other players, they're playing in their national leagues, they're playing in South America in general. They don't have a lot of players overseas. But if I'm being honest, I think that they could be also one of the dark horses of this tournament. I think that they have a great playing style. They are they're kind of very familiar with themselves, and they do like to compete. And we know that they have beaten Brazil. a couple of months ago or so. And at minus 128 on Colombia in this one, I honestly think this is the way to go. I'm pretty sure the price will go up to like minus 145, minus 150 as we approach the game time. So we'll see if we can snag that one a little bit early, maybe a couple of days before the kickoff. But as of right now, I don't think that Paraguay, with their current roster, in their current form, can go against Colombia in this game.
All right, and then off to the last one. We have the best team on paper year after year. We have Brazil against Costa Rica. I mean, this Brazil team, you look at it top to bottom, just has everything, everyone, all the guys that play internationally on the best teams and the best players. But can they put it all together for an entire tournament? We haven't seen that from them in many, many years. They've been close, but the cohesion hasn't been there for this team to elevate themselves and win the World Cup. So I know this is just one game and we're breaking down the game against Costa Rica, and obviously they're a heavy favorite, but do you have them potentially winning this thing or being them versus Argentina in the final? Or is that's very chalky, but it's hard not to pick those two powerhouses.
I gotta say, I was a big fan of Brazil, maybe 15, 20 years ago when they had that flair that we are used to watching from Brazil. That flair is now gone. If I'm being honest, I just can't say I see them winning this tournament. Honestly, they are the second favorites. Uh, I don't buy it if I'm being honest. That's like basically like England in Europe right now, who are the top favorites to win the Euro Cup, even though they haven't won anything. Uh, Brazil, I mean, they have all the names. And like you said, on paper, they are the top team in South America, North America, whatever you want to call it. With Vinicius Junior, we have Rodrigo, Rafinha, Martinelli from Arsenal. But you have to keep in mind that Vinicius Junior, even though he scored a ton of goals for Real Madrid, he scored only 3 goals for Brazil in the last 12 games. So there's something definitely not working out for all these players. It's up to the coach to figure it out. It's up to the coach to do something. And we saw against the States the other day, they had a lot of chances. They had a ton of shots on target. They just couldn't score a goal. And even though it's Costa Rica, I think that Brazil will come out on top in this one. But then again, at minus 526 favorites, you'd expect nothing less. But then, if you want to make some money, you have to lay the price at like minus 2.5, minus three. And to score 4 goals in the opening match of the tournament, even against Costa Rica, that would be a hard task to accomplish. So I would be very, very careful with this one, Costi, and leave it maybe very closer to the game time to see what's happening and how the lineups look, and maybe then make a decision to see if we can make any money on this game.
Well, there you have it, guys. The breakdown of the entire first round. Goran is here for you guys. If you're somebody again that is wanting to bet like a pro and get the education of how to make a lot of money in a very short period of time, like the Euros and the Euros and Copa America, this is your time. Shoot us a text. Type the word goal to 443-780-5663. I will personally talk to you, let you know if this is for you. And if you are, you're going to be on our private messaging platform. You're going to see our betting tickets in real time, and you're going to mimic what we're actually betting on, which is in real time, hours before the actual matches start after lineups are posted. So, with all that being said, I hope to hear from a few of you guys, and hopefully you guys are going to be a part of something much bigger this summer, which is these soccer tournaments, which I'm very excited for. So, Goran, thank you again for another great explanation of how these games are going to go. And I'm sure a lot more people that are going to sign up are going to want to hear a lot more from you.
Thank you for having me, Costi. And yeah, like you said, let's enjoy some great soccer over the summer. A lot of great games, a lot of great players to watch for. And of course, let's win some money in those games as well.